Okay, guys, so we're getting ready to do our state board haircut. Please don't pay attention to these curls here. She's been through a lot this morning, so if you would like to see the thermal curl section, please refer to that. Don't look at this as your model for thermal curling. I just kind of wanted to show you what you needed to do. So once you are finished with that thermal curling, you're going to put your iron in the items to be disinfected, and everything that you use as far as end papers are going to go into the trash, and clips and etc. are going to go into items to be disinfected. So you're ready for your haircut. This is a uniform layered haircut where you will use your razor and your shears. And it's a 30-minute time section. That's from start to finish. So you've got to be quick and you've got to be accurate. So I'm going to show you, once they say you may begin, what you're going to do is sanitize your hands. You're going to take these clips out from those thermal curls. God bless you. They go into items to be disinfected. I have saved a tail comb to help me section quickly. I'm going to section here from my front hairline to my crown and that top mohawk section. You can go ahead, if you need to, go ahead and slightly wet her. You can wet her more throughout. I'm going to go ahead and go from that crown to just behind the ear, creating, well, come on. Oh, she is on there. Just behind the ear, just like that, to create my left and my right sections. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Crown to just behind the ear. My back section, I'm going to divide in half, creating my 5 sections, but I'm going to leave from the occipital to that hairline, that entire nape area. I'm going to leave that down because that's what I'm going to cut first. Okay, so just to kind of show you, here we are. I have my top and my left and my right, and then my back is divided into 2, and that whole entire nape area is down, ready to cut. Now I'm going to leave her sideways so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm not actually going to cut any hair off today. I'm just going to go through those motions with you. Goodness, sanitize my hands. Felt like I had to sneeze. So you're going to take your tail comb. It's going to go into your items to be disinfected. And you're ready to begin. So you have to cut at least 1 inch off. You want to make sure you're maintaining that drape throughout. So if you need to reposition, then please do so. You want to make sure she's nice and tight. You want to make sure you can still see your towel right there. So you're going to take your razor, you're going to bring it open. Now, safety sanitation, we're going to make sure safety, that guard is on, that guard is facing me. And you want to make sure that you're palming your shears and your razor. So to palm that razor, I'm going to remove my thumb. So if you see, I'm going to remove that thumb to comb when I'm ready to cut. I'm going to put my thumb back there. So she's looking down. I'm going to get that perimeter, that 0 elevation, cutting over my fingers. I'm going to cut, taking that middle section. So I'm just working with this section right here. So I'm going to cut. I'm going to take a little bit of that middle section as my guide and take another vertical section from my right. Cut. I'm going to do that throughout, making sure that I'm straight up and down. My fingers are parallel to the floor. Cut, cut, cut. Now, once I've got that 0 cut in, I'm ready to come through, and I'm going to take another vertical section in the middle, and I'm going to pull it straight out from the head at a 90. I'm pulling straight out from the head. So depending on which direction you're cutting, so I'm going to put my fingers directly behind that comb, pull out. My guide is down here. My 0 is my guide. So I'm ready to cut, 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 cut. Again, take a little bit of that center guide, another vertical section, pulling straight out from the head. I've got my guide here at the bottom from my 0. Cut, cut, cut. Same thing as I'm coming around, pulling out. There's I see my guide right here from my 0, and I'm going to cut. I'm ready to cut that left side, so I'm still going to take a little bit of my original guide from that center, pulling straight out from the head. Cut, cut, cut. Coming over the last side. Remember, you have 30 minutes for all of this. Cut, cut, cut. Now you want to cross check. So we took horizontal sections. So what you want to do is go back into this section, holding out, straight out from the head at a 90. And what you should see is a straight line. I know it's going to be a little scraggly from the razor cut, and that's exactly what it's supposed to look like. Now, if you see anything that you need to fix or tweak, please do so at this time before you're moving on, because this is going to be your new guide. All right, I'm finished with that. Wonderful. Now I'm finished with my razor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close that razor, and it is going into my items to be disinfected container. And I'm ready to continue with my shears. Now remember, you have to palm your shears. Safety, sanitation. So as I am combing, my shears are closed. My thumb is out. My thumb is out of that thumb hole. As I'm combing, ready to cut, my thumb goes in. So the next section I'm taking down is going to be another fairly large section, all the way up to that parietal ridge. Make sure that when you clip, when you're moving that clip, make sure that you are clipping onto another section of her hair. Do not clip this to you, and do not clip it to her drape. If you need to get it a little more wet, please do so. Now, again, I'm going into that center. I'm using that last little bit of that guide at that occipital bone, pulling out at a 90, and cut, cut, cut. You need to reposition your fingers to be able to do so. Pull everything out at that 90. Take a little bit of your guide from the previous section that you just cut, and a little bit from that bottom. You're going to pull it out. Cut, cut. Make sure that you're pulling straight out from the head. Remember, that changes as the curvature of the head changes. I'll take a little bit of that guide from that center. I'm starting on my left-hand side. I'm ready. Cut, cut, cut. And cut, cut, cut. Okay, I'm dropping down these two sections. These go into my items to be disinfected container. Now here, I'm going to be in my center again. You're going to pull straight out from the head. Straight out from the head is right here. Not sure if you can see that. I'm going to put this down. Try to move her a little bit closer. Straight out from the head. If you're not sure where that is, if you're ever doing this haircut and you're like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot where 90 is located. If you take your comb and you place it wherever it lays on that head, follow the teeth, and that's going to show you exactly where 90 degrees is based on the curvature of the head. You're going to pull that out. Now your guide is still down here from that last section, and you're going to cut. Pull it out. I know I've got 90 here, side of the head. Going to do the same. Cut. Taking a little piece from that middle section. Cutting my left. I'm straight out 90. Cut. And ready to do the same right here. Okay, so I'm going to go to my sides. And I'm going to turn her a little bit so I can get to her just a little bit easier, but still you're able to see what's happening. I'm going to drop down about an inch and a half section. I'm pulling this straight down, and I'm making sure that my zero is the same thing as back here in the back. I'm going to pull that straight down. I'm going to get that zero. Now I'm ready to take that section, and I'm going to pull straight out from the head, and I'm ready to make that cut. I'm going to take a little piece. Can you guys see? I'm going to take a little piece of that into my next section, straight out from the head. Cut. Now, I'm going to drop the rest of this down. Items to be disinfected. So my guide is there at the bottom. You pull this straight out from the head. This one's not exactly even. I feel like she's fixing to fall. I'm gonna lose my client, guys. Straight out from the head. Cut. Oh, there she goes. She's feeling better. Coming straight out. Cut. Same thing on the other side. Items to be disinfected. And move her around. Sanitize my hands. And I'm ready to proceed. All right, same thing here. I'm going to drop down, get that zero based on my guide here in the back. I'm going to make that cut. here. I'm not quite ready for that yet. I've already threw my clip away. That's okay, because I'm just going to get it up out of the way like that. I'm going to come here, pulling straight out from the head. Cut, cut. Straight out. Your guide is here at the bottom from your 0. And straight out. 0. Now you want to cross-check that horizontally. Pulling it straight out from the head, and you want to make sure that you have an even line. All right, we're ready to rock and roll here. Your guide is right here where you left it. We're pulling straight out from the head again. I don't know if you can see that, straight out from the head. Making that cut. Making that cut. Guide is right there. Gonna make that cut. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my top. I'm ready. This is going into the trash. My top, I'm gonna split in straight down the middle. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this top. You can start back here, taking horizontal sections, using that back guide, going up that way. I'm gonna do this just a little bit differently, and I'm gonna split her down the middle. So each section that I take, we're gonna do 2 cuts. So I'm gonna start here at the back, and I have cut all of this already, all the way to that parietal ridge. So I'm gonna make 1 cut and walk it up to 2. And 1 cut and walk it up, straight up to 2. Now, if you have to reposition your fingers to make that cut, then that's fine, but your position is 1 and 2. 1 at the parietal ridge, and 2 is straight up. Now you're going to come around here at the back, and I like to just keep coming around at that parietal ridge, making sure that my top and my back and sides are all blended together. Now right here's where we're going to go 1 and 2. Now your guide is back here from that back section that you just cut, making sure. Coming down, going to go 1 and 2. Another vertical section, and 1 and 2. And 1 here. I'm going to move her around. She doesn't like to move. Just so that you guys can see, and I'll stand from back here. We're going to go 1 and 2. Last piece. We're going to go 1 and 2. And since we took vertical sections all the way around that parietal ridge, we're going to go back and check that top horizontally, pulling it straight up. If there's anything to cut, go ahead and cut it. If there's something to cut, you'll see it. If you have 2 short pieces and something long in between, you know you need to cut it. Otherwise, it's not blended. So if they still haven't called time, you need to cross-check, cross-check, cross-check. Go back through your haircut. Once they have called time, you're gonna, oh my goodness. Anytime you touch your face, touch yourself, got hair all over me, you have to sanitize your hands. So this is your 90-degree cut. Your shears and your combs go into items to be disinfected. And that, ladies, is your uniform layered haircut.